Now, Jake, there was a lot of talk of male candidates for the role prior to this decision. Has it come as a surprise?
Well, Yvonne, I think if you have to, it depends how far back you want to go. When these comments were first initially made by Yoshiro Mori, a couple of days later, the next day actually, he held a press conference where he said he apologised for the comments and he retracted them, but he refused to resign. And then there was significant pressure from the Japanese public, which was very unhappy about the Games already, according to opinion polls, and also sponsors started to raise concerns about those comments and the damage that it was doing for the Games. Then it looked clear at that point that he was going to resign, but his successor was tipped to be a fellow male sporting bureaucrat, but at the last minute he also turned down the job amid a lot of criticism, the idea that this role should go to a woman. Then there was about a week of speculation before Seiko Hashimoto was ultimately announced and selected as the candidate. It has been speculated over the last couple of days that Ms Hashimoto would be the selection of the committee. Today was quite a bureaucratic process to actually make it happen. She had to resign from her role in the cabinet, her role as Minister for the Olympics and Paralympics and Women's Empowerment. So she informed the Prime Minister she was going to do that. Then she had to be voted to be appointed to the Executive Board of the Tokyo Organising Committee, and then they voted on her candidacy as president, and she was officially made president late this afternoon, and she gave a press conference as well where she was saying how important this role is to her and how she wants to make sure that the Games are held safely and successfully, which you would expect given that that has been what she was saying while as the Olympics Minister. So it's not a significant transition from one role to the other, but equally important and comes at a crucial time for the organising committee and the Games themselves.
Well, who is Seiko Hashimoto? What experience will she bring to the role?
Well, quite a lot. She's a former Olympian, a seven-time Olympian actually, and she's a bronze medalist. She won a speed skating bronze medal, but has also competed in cycling at the Summer Games. So she understands both winter and summer games and brings that understanding of what it's like for an athlete to go through at that top tier, at the best of the best level that these Olympic athletes are competing at. So she's able to bring that understanding of what the athletes must be going through now amid this great uncertainty about the pandemic. So that certainly helps. She's been a politician for I think about 15 plus years since resigning stepping away from her role in the Japanese Athletics and Olympic Committee. So she has a lot of experience in the sports world and in the Olympic organising world as well, given that she was the Minister for Olympics and Paralympics, as well as something that the Olympic Organising Committee has really been looking for, someone who understands diversity and the need for gender balance. And as Women's Empowerment Minister from 2019, she also brings a lot of experience from that role. There has been some concern and some criticism that has come up in the last couple of days about an incident in 2014, and it was reported in 2014 when she was at the Sochi Olympic Games in her role with the Japanese Olympic Committee. There were reports that she made unwanted advances on a skater, so concerns about sexual harassment at that time. But the skater himself said that he didn't consider it to be sexual harassment. The Japanese Olympic Committee investigated Seiko Hashimoto and the athlete and found that there was no wrongdoing. Nevertheless, Ms Hashimoto did make an apology for her behaviour at that time, and it was something that she again was asked about in her press conference this evening, and she said that she still deeply regrets that moment and has learnt a great deal from it, and that has made her a better person and more understanding and compassionate in all of the issues that she's going to have to be tackling as the new president of the Tokyo Organising Committee.
Indeed, she's got a lot of challenges ahead of her. Meanwhile, Jake, do you think this appointment will help the nation to heal? It's been so angered by the sexist culture that does exist in Japan.
There were 150,000 people who signed a petition against calling on Yoshiro Mori to resign, and that those comments were completely unacceptable. And I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. And in Japan, as these comments were picked up by international media, they were initially picked up reported in domestic media, but got a lot of traction in international media, and that's where all of the pressure came from, and that created a great deal of momentum for some kind of change over this issue. I think it's an excellent start. If you're going to have someone who is who needs to heal and encourage the Japanese public to get on board behind the Olympics, particularly given the sexism scandal that she has just inherited from Yoshiro Mori, a woman is an excellent place to start if gender balance and diversity is one of the key things that you're going to be tackling. Now, she's got 5 months until the games begin, and it'll be a very tough sell in that time, but there's nothing to suggest that she won't be able to convince the sceptical Japanese public.